Hey folks, welcome back to Bullets and Brass. Today we are talking about the Slingster, Ferro Concepts Slingster, which is why I'm wearing my Ferro Concepts Slingster. It's only appropriate, right? So my friend Bryan let me borrow his new sling, and very cool. Get sort of less messy. This is the main thing. This little mechanism right here. That's the thing that separates the Slingster from a lot of other options. It is unique. Now, the rest of the sling is also very well constructed. You've got a nice, sort of very lightly padded, just enough to ease the load. This is not designed for a heavy rifle. This is designed for a normal AR-15 personal rifle kind of setup. Tapered, so you go from a 1-inch strap to a 2-inch pad. And it is very comfy. I used it, as you'll see in the video, on one of my heavier rifles. It's call it a DMR setup, a bench setup, a hunting setup. It is my setup for, I'm taking careful, precise shots, and weight is less of a factor. So the rifle is not light. And yeah, it was perfectly comfy. I did not have any issues with the sling, other than just teething pains of, is it perfectly adjusted for me? Am I used to it? I am very used to my Magpul MS4s. I got these guys set up for me. I use them all the time. I'm used to it. When I reach back to grab the adjustment slider, that's what I'm used to. And so you'll see me fumble a couple times. I may or may not edit out a lot of it, just in the interest of brevity, because I redid it after I fumbled it. But I'll probably leave in 1 or 2 of the fumbles. And it's not the sling's fault. It's just me not being used to it. But when I used it properly, no issues. My biggest complaint with Bryan's sling is I don't like his QDs. And part of that is just they're not broken in. When I tried to get them back out of the rifle, one of them was very tough to get out just because it was very awkward to push the button in firmly enough and pull. That's not really an issue. It's just a pet peeve. I'm used to the ones I've got. Now, these are made in the U.S. Ferro Concepts is a U.S. company producing these in the U.S. That is valuable. They are very well constructed. The stitching is not the same as the Magpuls, but very tough. They are cross-stitching at each point, multiple layers, like it is in there, right? Overall, I would say that I don't think this is the sling for me, but, big but, never mind. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that if you wanted to go with this sling, you will be very happy. What I would say is, don't cross this sling with another sling. If you're going to use this one, use this one. Don't have this one and another one and another one. Like this mechanism, in order to use smoothly, you have to be consistent with it. You have to use it the same way every time. You have to get used to grabbing this. It is different from a lot of other slings in that sense. That's not a bad thing. It just means that if you're like me, where you're already very used to another product, it's a liability if you're switching back and forth. I can switch to other slings that use a similar sliding mechanism and not have it be a huge issue. I just have to get the length adjusted right. But, this is different. And that doesn't make it bad. In fact, I really liked it. I think that my original concern was that this piece would not hold up, and messing around with it, I found that it is extremely durable. Obviously I have not torture tested this. This is not mine. I have not even taken it out in the field. But messing around with it, I never felt like it was going to be the weak link. When you pull, it flexes enough to relieve the tension and give you the right amount of movement. When you yank, it opens. When you pull, it clamps. It works well for its intended function. The overall strap material, I really liked. It has just a hair of give, and that's a big thing. You want a little bit of bounce, right? That takes that as you're walking. The rifle is not just dunk, 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 pounding on your shoulders. It just, that little bit of stretch, but you don't want it to be bouncy. You don't want it to be, the rifle is not stable. This does very well. So do the Magpuls. They are a much wider strap, but the amount of stretch is similar. So I'm overall very impressed. Price-wise, I think you can't really go wrong. Just make sure you buy good QDs. I'm not saying Bryan's aren't. I'm just saying that make sure you do. And if you have a preference for QDs, this is good because you can put your preference on. The Magpuls come with their QDs already on. You kind of have to go with theirs. Getting them off there is not realistic. You're going to be restitching things. On these, the reason you have all these extra buckles and things is because these are not stitched in. These are up to you to put on. You can put whatever you want in. Say I was using my cab arm stock. I can take this end and put it through the cab arm stock without a QD and through the straps, through the keepers. That's nice. I could use this strap with all of my rifles with no modification. So if I was willing to switch over, I could buy 3 of these and do all of my ARs on this strap and not be dealing with the issue I am right now where I've got a Strike Industries strap on one of my rifles because I needed that attachment method. Yes, you can fiddle around with the Magpuls and make it work. It's a lot of fiddling around.